Hello, welcome to a new video. It is time for the anticipated releases of the next quarter of the year. The camera angle might have changed. It's genuinely baffling me that I am about to talk about books that are releasing in July, August and September 2025, because how is it already June 2025? We are halfway through the year nearly. Mind blown. But I have quite a few now. I can't read out the blurbs for all of these because there is a lot here that is actually sequels. So I'm not gonna be like talking about the sequels too much. Okay, so for July, the first book I actually can talk about, and I've actually already read this. So it comes out on the 1st of July, and it is Tusk Love by Thea Guanzon. You may have heard me talk about this, but let's just do the blurb. A merchant's daughter who yearns for adventure gets more than she bargained for when she falls for a broodingly handsome stranger in this saucy romantasy from the New York Times bestselling author of The Hurricane Wars. As the daughter of an ambitious merchant, Guinevere's path has been predetermined. Marry into a noble house of the dwindling empire. That was really difficult to say. Raise her family station and live quietly as a lordling's obedient wife, but Guinevere longs for a life unbounded by expectations, for freedom and passion and adventure. Those distant dreams become a sudden reality when her caravan is beset by bandits, leaving her guards slain and Guinevere stranded alone on the dangerous Amber Road. Her only chance of survival is to travel alongside Oscar, the aloof half-orc who saved her during the attack. Unlike Guinevere, Oscar's path is not so set in stone. With his mother dead and his apprenticeship abandoned, all that's left is a long, lonely walk to a land he's never seen, to find family he's never met. The last thing he needs is a spoiled waif like Guinevere slowing him down, even if the spark between them sizzles with promise. Despite his cold exterior, Oscar is brave and thoughtful and unlike anyone Guinevere's ever met. And while Guinevere may be sheltered, she brings out a softness in him that he has never dared to feel before. As the flames of their passion grow, they realise they'll soon need to choose between their expected destinations or their blossoming romance. This book was perfect. I know some people are going to disagree and they're entitled to their own opinion. This book was perfect. This is a book that Critical Role fans have been wanting for a while. So basically in campaign 2, one of the characters, Jester, talks about her favourite book, which just so happens to be a book called Tusk Love, which is about Guinevere and Oscar. And what did Critical Role do? They got Thea Guanzon to write it, and it now exists. So the book that Jester always talks about now exists in our world, and it makes me so incredibly happy. Next on the 3rd of July is Poison Tides by J. McGuinness. I can't talk much about this. This is the second book in, I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy, duology, whatever-y. But this is the sequel to Bloodflowers. I read Bloodflowers, I think it was last year, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to getting the sequel. Next, on the 8th of July, is The Undercutting of Rosie and Adam by Megan Bannon. This is another one I can't talk much about. The first book is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, and then I haven't actually read the second book in that series yet. I will. I'm just really bad at series, and you know this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the third book, and I will read them. I promise. Next, on the 15th of July, is one I can talk about, and it is Roll for Romance by Lenora Woods. Two fledgling tabletop gamers find themselves falling for each other both in and out of their weekly D&D sessions in this charming fantasy-tinged romance. For years, Sadie Brooks has declined her best friend's standing invitation to join his Dungeons & Dragons campaign, but when she unexpectedly loses her marketing job and flees New York City to spend the summer with him in small-town Texas, she also runs out of excuses to say no. In the game, she becomes Jaylee, a powerful and self-assured human cleric blessed by the goddess of luck with spells to heal her companions. But in real life, Sadie believes her luck has run out, and she hopes the distraction will give her time to clear her head and plan next steps. She never expected Noah Walker, the handsome, outgoing bartender roped into joining them, to factor into that plan. Like Sadie, he's new in town, but with a taste for adventure, Noah never stays in one place for long. He's something of a travelling bard, just like his character Lauren, the charismatic, lute-strumming elf. While Jaylee finds herself succumbing to the bard's charms over the course of their party's travels, Sadie also begins to fall under Noah's spell. As their relationship progresses in both worlds, Sadie can't help but wonder if they might last beyond the game. But when a surprising new opportunity opens in New York, she must face the truth about why she lost her job in the first place, and whether she and Noah have found something in Texas worth staying for. Torn between her career dreams in the city and the exciting uncertainty of a new adventure, she will have no choice but to roll the dice. What can I say? I am a sucker for D&D romances. Anyone would think I like D&D and I like romance. Next, on the 17th, we have 2 sequels coming out. So we've got Human Rights by Juno Dawson. I'm really excited to read this. I do actually have the e-arc for this, but I really like the narrator for the audiobook, so I think I'm going to wait till release day, get the audiobook and binge it then, so that my review can still go up on NetGalley like within like the first week of it being out. But this is the final book in the HMRC series, the Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. I've loved this series. It's such a good series and I'm so excited to see how it all wraps up. And then we also have Law of the Tides by Annalie Sabrana on the 17th. This is the sequel to Law of the Wilds, which was the first ever Fairy Loot Romantasy book. And I got that and I read it and I actually absolutely loved this book. And I've been really hoping Fairy Loot were going to do a matching special edition, and they have announced they are, and I think it goes on sale this month, so I'm very excited to get that. I won't be reading it right away because Fairy Loot's shipping is a bit like behind release dates and stuff, but that is fine. I will read it when I get it. Editing Becca here, just coming in to say on the 24th of July we have Silvercloak by Laura Stephen, which I don't have the blurb in front of me, but it's incredible. I got an e-arc of it, I read it, and it was my favourite book of the month I read it, so yeah. And then the final July book is also on the 17th, and it is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. So this is a sequel to The Spell Shop, which I only read last month. And I absolutely fell in love with it, and I'm really excited that we're going to get to follow a different character. And yeah, I'm really excited to read this. I literally found out the day after I finished the book that there was going to be a sequel and it was coming out soon, and I instantly went to Waterstones and pre-ordered it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Okay, then we move on to August. So the first book in August that I have on my list is on the 5th, and it is Star Wars Sanctuary by Lamar Giles. Now, I'm not going to read out the blurb for this because this takes place during Bad Batch, and it's going to be quite spoilery if I read out the blurb, so I'm not going to read it out, but just know Bad Batch is one of my favourite Star Wars things, along with Rebels, and I'm really, really excited to get a Bad Batch book because I didn't get enough of those characters in the TV show and I want more. So this takes place directly after the events of season 2 episode 13, so I'm very excited because Hunter and Wrecker are my favourites of the Bad Batch. I do love the others though, I do. So yeah, next, and also on the 5th of August, is Zom Romcom by Olivia Dade. When Edie Brandstrup attempts to save her sweet, seemingly harmless human neighbour from the first major zombie breach in 2 decades, she's stunned to be saved by him and his ridiculously large sword instead. As it turns out, he's actually a super old, super surly vampire. But for all her neighbour's newly revealed cynicism and lethality, Gaston Max Bouger, yes, Gaston, is unexpectedly protective. He wants her to stay in his safety bunker until the breach is resolved. Edie can't risk more innocent people getting killed though, and Max won't let her save them alone. As they unravel a sinister conspiracy to set zombies loose on the world again, the duo meet a host of lovable allies and discover they're not the only ones willing to fight for the future of humanity. Despite the awful timing, Edie finds herself falling for the vampire who's helping her save the world, but all their dangerous plans could end their future before it even begins. As she and Max battle side by side, Edie must decide whether having a love worth living for also means having a love you'd die for, and in a world that grows deadlier by the minute, whether that's a risk she's willing to take. This sounds ridiculous in the best way, and I'm so excited. Zombies? Vampires? Romance? Yes, please. Okay, the next one is on the 12th, and this is Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmerer. Bridget is an auto-biographer for me. You can just see some of her books here. She is an auto-biographer for me, and I'm so excited for this. I think this is her debut into the world of adult romantasy. So Warrior, King Maddox Chironan's fire magic has earned him a ruthless reputation on the battlefield, but now his kingdom is slowly burning. Kai's only chance to save his people is to enter a marriage alliance with the neighbouring nation of Astranza, and hope that the royal family's power to manipulate the weather will help his land flourish once more. He just needs to ensure no one finds out how the blaze began. Princess. With war looming on the horizon, Princess Jory's home needs the protection of the fearsome warrior king, but she's hiding a dangerous secret. Her family's magic is fading. Tempting as it is to reject her duties and run away with her childhood friend Asher, Jory knows that she is the kingdom's last hope. When she meets her intended, Jory is surprised to discover that beneath Kai's daunting exterior is a compassionate and sharp-witted man who sets her heart aflame. But what will he do when he realises she's deceiving him? Assassin. Asher's done what he must to survive, even if that means getting his hands dirty. Once a young nobleman in Astranza's palace, where he and Jory cause mischief together, now he's part of the Hunters Guild, employing much darker skills. When a lucrative job comes his way, Asher can't say no, until he discovers the targets. Someone wants Kai and Jory dead. With the guild watching, Asher must decide what he's willing to do to protect the woman he loves. I'm really excited for this. I feel like it's going to be a love triangle. I would like if it's a poly relationship. That would be great. Get some representation, because I don't really like love triangles. But if anyone other than Cassandra Clare in Infernal Devices is going to do a love triangle, I think Bridget Kemmerer could. I believe in her. Next on the 26th of August is The Executioners 3 by Susan Dennard. So there isn't a huge blurb for this one. It just says, Freddie Geller didn't mean to get half the rival high school arrested. She had simply heard shrieks coming from the woods, so she'd called the cops like any good human would do. How was she supposed to know it was just kids partying? Except the next day a body is found, and while the local sheriff might call it suicide, Freddie's instincts tell her otherwise. So like the aspiring sleuth and true X-Files aficionado she is, Freddie sets out to prove there's a murderer at large. I'm really excited for this because I love everything that Susan Dennard writes. I love the Witchland series because it's fantasy and there's lots of magic and everything. But then I also really loved the Luminaries series because it's basically just set in our world, but it's got like the magical and mystical side. And I really enjoyed that. So I'm excited to see this, which is like a murder mystery. And I don't know if it's going to have any magic or anything. I don't know. It does say a mystery filled with rivalry, romance, best friends, and a gruesome curse that dates back centuries. So maybe there is some sort of magic, but I'm looking forward to this. And then the final August book is The Entanglement of Rival Wizards by Sarah Rash, and this is also on the 26th of August. And can I just say, on Goodreads, the little tagline thing is, Ali Hazelwood meets Dungeons and Dragons in this enemies to lovers fantasy academia rom-com where rival grad student wizards are forced to work together without killing or falling for each other. Ali Hazelwood and D&D. And it's written by Sarah Rash, who I love. Will they conjure love or evoke chaos? Two rival wizards are about to find out. Sebastian Walsh, 24, grad student at Lasaria University to the Magus of Evocation Programme. Human, the first of his family to go to college rather than the military, and it goes over at family get-togethers about as well as you'd think. Alethea Torrell, also 24, also a grad student, but in the far more inferior Magus of Conjuration Programme. Half-elf, the latest in a long line of Tyrells to grace the hallowed halls of Lasaria U. What would the world do if Tyrells ran out of rich douches to lead their magical weapons manufacturing empire? And the other finalist for Magus Research Grant. Sebastian needs that grant to fund the last few months of research for his degree, after which he'll get a job that actually helps people. He isn't about to let anyone snatch this from him, least of all a snob who doesn't even need the money because his family is loaded thanks to war profiteering. But there's something worse than having a conceited academic nemesis steal grant money from you. You could be forced to work with him. Theo is secretive, broody, and his stunning biceps take up far too much shared lab space, but even as volatile as their partnership is, Sebastian just might find himself falling for his rival, and it could blow up his whole future. It sounds so good, and I am really excited. And then we move on to September. So for the first book, it is on the 18th and it is Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood. This is, I believe, a sequel to Rewitched, so I can't talk too much about it. I do think it's just one of those like sequels that is just like, they could be read as standalones, but they link, in which case I will not be reading the blurb because I don't want to know. And I don't want to risk spoiling something for Rewitched if people don't want to know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like a sequel to Rewitched, which I really loved. Then on the 23rd of September, we have Thief of Night by Holly Black. This is a sequel to Book of Night, which for the longest time I thought was a standalone, and then it got announced there was another book. So I don't really know what this one's going to be about, even though I vaguely remember there being a slight cliffhanger. So I don't know why I thought it was a standalone for so long. I don't know. But I am looking forward to reading this. I just think I might need a refresher on Book of Night beforehand because I don't remember too much about it. And then the last three are all on the 30th. So first up we have Make Me a Monster by Kaylin Bayron. There's a new Kaylin Bayron coming out and I'm excited. So it's got Mika has always lived her life surrounded by death. As a newly certified mortician's assistant at her parents' funeral home, her days are not for the faint of heart. Luckily her boyfriend Noah isn't squeamish, and their closeness has Mika finally feeling ready to say the three little words that have been on her mind. But then tragedy strikes and Mika's world is torn apart. Nothing makes sense, especially when strange things start happening. Strangers following her, mysterious items left at her door, ravens circling her home, and the dead don't seem to be staying dead. When a shocking family secret is revealed, Mika must unravel the truth to save herself and her family, and what she finds defies everything she's always believed about life and death. So it actually says, Kaylin Bayron puts a modern twist on Frankenstein in her haunting new novel about the lengths we'd go for the people we love, and I am so excited. I need this. I need it now. Also on the 30th, I don't usually put manga on here, but I'm getting volume 7 of Dinosaur Sanctuary by Taro Kinoshita, and I am so excited because I absolutely love this series. If you've been watching my vlogs the last few months, you all know that I am so in love with this series, and I just want to binge what I have, but this doesn't come out till September, so I'm trying to be good. And then the final book is also on the 30th, and it is Dating After the End of the World by Geneva Rose. Casey Pearson grew up with a doomsday prepping father. At 18, tired of living an unconventional life, she left home, vowing never to return. More than a decade later, a mysterious viral outbreak changes everything, including the people it infects, turning them into zombie-like creatures. It's the end of the world and no one saw it coming, except for Casey's father. With no place left to run and danger lurking around every corner, Casey is forced to return home. Upon arrival, she's surprised to find that her dad has hunkered down with a group of survivors, including her arch-nemesis Blake Morrison, the high school bully who made Casey's teenage years a living hell. While struggling to live on the compound, face outside threats, and survive alongside her handsome enemy, Casey will learn that although the world has ended, hers is just beginning. So I don't like the idea of the love interest being her high school bully. So we're going to see on that. However, Geneva Rose, I have been seeing a lot on TikTok. She does a lot of videos where she will go into like Barnes & Noble, Target, things like that. And if copies of her books are there, she'll just like try and sneakily sign them and then put them back on the shelf. And it's hilarious because more times than not, she does get caught, but it's funny. No one has an issue with it because she's literally just signing her books. And she's just funny. And I was looking into her books and none of them, they sound good, but none of them sound like my sort of thing. So when I saw this one was coming out, I was like, that does sound like my sort of thing. So I'm really excited to read this. And I really hope I love it. Because then maybe I will try something else and go out of my comfort zone. We shall see. But that is my anticipated releases for the next 3 months. If there are any books coming out in July, August and September this year that you think I have missed that I would enjoy, please let me know below in the comments. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.